Hello there, viewers. This is your host, John Njok again, and I'm on a different topic. That is South Sudan, a brief history. I've been having videos about personal or self-help and personal development, videos about affiliate marketing, and videos about book reviews. But today, I want to talk to you about South Sudan mainly because of the current issues. If you listen to the news on the BBC, if you go to social media, if you are part of the clubhouse, which I'm not a part of, you will realize that a lot of issues are going on. And even I heard that the UN, the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, has just, warned about the looming, danger for the country to just get back to a civil war. So for that reason, I never been talking about South Sudan, excuse me, on this channel or on online, though I did, some audio recordings in 2004 before our independence or even before the signing of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement. So this video is mostly for you, the Gen Zs of South Sudan, wherever you are, whether you are in East Africa, whether you are in Africa, whether you are in Juba, whether you are in South Sudan, whether you are abroad or outside Africa. Why? Because for us, the millennials and those who were before us, these key events in Sudan and South Sudan are just, part of our daily life. But for your information, I just feel like I have to take you through a few events, major events in Sudan and South Sudan, just to give you a picture of, maybe you could be able to see why are we in the state we are in right now. So let's begin. I would like to take us back to 1955 to 1972. 1955, as you might know, is a year, 1 year before the independence of Sudan, or the independence of the Sudan, from the Anglo-Egyptian rule. There's a lot of events here, but I would like to focus on the need for independence of South Sudan. It was, a need that was there even long before Sudan became an independent state, independent country. Okay, so a lot of things happened between 1955 to 1972, starting with the mutiny in Torit, and ending with the Addis Ababa Peace Agreement. All right. So before Sudan's independence, that's what I just talked about. We South Sudanese, we knew that we were supposed to be a state, supposed to be a country of our own. And the main idea was that we were more of a federal system. Why? Because we have so many nations. Dinka is a nation, Nuer is a nation, Shiluk is a nation, or Cholo, the official name, Cholo, is a nation, Maban is a nation. Because within all those, what we call tribes today, there are tribes. You see, there are tribes within Bari or Bari speakers. They have different accents, and those are tribes. Maybe you talk of Kuku, maybe you talk of Bari, maybe you talk of the other, parts of the what you call Bari speaker. I want to make something clear here, based on my understanding. When you talk of Equatoria is a region divided or named by the colonial rule. Okay, because it looked like even the name Africa was actually given to us by others. So I wonder what was the name, or maybe we did not even know what Africa was, though we were in it, right? So I'm wondering, because when people talk about Bahr el Ghazal, naturally the connotation, especially for us from the Upper Nile, is that you are talking about the Dinka Bahr el Ghazal. But Bahr el Ghazal is simply a region, just like Upper Nile, just like Equatoria. The same thing. Equatoria is not Bari. Equatoria is a piece of land, okay, within South Sudan. So All these nationalities, like if you know Achille Malith, Honorable Achille Malith used to tell us that we have 72 nationalities. Okay, he's talking of nationalities, not tribes in South Sudan. So all these nationalities were having the idea of, having their own country that has to be a federal system. Why? Because federalism seems to be the best option for South Sudan, for the setting, for the situation of South Sudan, where you have so many nationalities or language groups, for them to work as federations, or I mean federal system, whereby you have, you know, from the lowest level of authority to the highest, there is delegated. No, delegation is actually part of unitarian system. Okay, it is not really federalism. Federalism operate on what we call devolution of powers, where it is by law. Okay, so you give powers to the chief in the village by law, so that you cannot withdraw those powers unless you change what? The constitution, unless you change the law, right? And I think this video is part of my capacity building as a director general, or the first deputy director general of capacity building for the Ministry of Federal Affairs. Even though this is not official, it is my personal video, but I want to let you know that before the independence of Sudan, South Sudanese were having that idea that maybe either we get independent on the same day, or our independence should be a bit delayed, maybe for a year or so. Whatever was the plan, I want to let you know that this was not a new idea. Okay, so even before Sudan's independence, we had the idea of our own country. Now, the first civil war actually broke out in 1955, as I told you, what they call mutiny in Torit, in the eastern Equatorial State, current eastern Equatorial State capital. I don't want to go into details. If you want to know more, you can either ask in the comments below, because it's very important if you want to know key events. All right. So that is when the first civil war broke out, up to 1972, where we had the Addis Ababa Peace Agreement, led by our current, Joseph Lago, and then a lot of things happened, and that peace was not honored in leading to 1983, second civil war. So this period in the Sudan history, 1955 to 1972, is known as the first Sudanese civil war. So my analysis here, I want to talk about the causes of this even first civil war. First is about, we in the South, we are more of black, and we think we are more African than our brothers in the North, the Arabs. Though if you go to Saudi Arabia, they may also be considered African, right? Because Sudan is an African country geographically. Of course, it is an Arab country, mentally, ideologically, politically, and even ethnically. Okay, so because when you talk of Sudan, there are so many ethnic groups which are known as Arabs, though they came to find the Nubians, the Punj, and the Dinkas, the Nuer, and all that, and the Nilotes. They found out there and intermarried with us. That's why, if you look at the skin, I don't know. Even me, I'm very light skinned. Possibility, maybe I'm an Arab. I don't know. All right, but that's what the topic I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about the identity. I just want to give you a brief analysis of the root causes. One of them is ethnicity. We in the South realize that we are different from our brothers in the North. So we realized that our religion, we were more of African traditional religious believers before Islam and before Christianity came, right? Even today, we still have traditional African religious beliefs or believers in South Sudan. So the root cause was ethnicity and also religion, as well as resources. Just like today, Sudan is still at war um, with itself, even after the South succeeded or became independent in 2011, which I will mention a little bit. So, just to make it brief, that is my analysis when it comes to the causes, the root causes of the first civil war. Now, 1972 to 1983, actually, I was born in 1983 or 1984, I'm not sure. It's likely to be 84, but officially I write 1983, right? So, what happened here was that when that agreement, when Ibrahim, Jafar Nimeri, said that that agreement was neither Quran, neither Injil, or it was not the Quran, neither is it the gospel, that it should not be kept. He wanted to impose that Sharia law on the Southerners who were more of Christian and animists, or as they call us, African traditional believers or religion believers. So what happened here was that in 1983, that was the formation of the SPLM. Sorry, I did not even know what it was called, because in the area where I grew up, people say Athialel, Athialem. So I did not know what it was until 2000, the year 2000, when I came to Ngokland. That is when I actually got the actual spelling of the Sudan People's Liberation Army or Sudan People's Liberation Movement. I did not know that, but that was 1983. SPLM was formed as the army. SPLA is the army. SPLM was, and he is still, which is still questionable why we still keep the SPLA, but the SPLM, without changing it when we have changed the SPLA now to SSPDF. So maybe we could also change SPLM to something, but that's not the topic. I just want you to know that this is the block of time and the events that occurred. So again, there was a need for our independence, even during this period. The first period, there was a need for the same, and then the second period, which is known as the Second Civil War, which started in 1983. The reason was that we still needed to be, independent, to be our own country. Then, right there were issues of tribalism within South Sudan, especially in the Greater Upper Nile. There were issues between the Murle and the Nuer and the Murle and the Dinka, the Nuer and the Dinka, and Anyuag and the Nuer, Sholo and all that. So a lot of tribalism has been happening. So even though today people say, oh, it was the colonial rule, the British who ruled us, they were the one who divided us. I think that is not true. If we have to admit that even the Nuers were fighting against themselves, that is the reality of Africa, not just South Sudan. Africa as a whole, we have been fighting against ourselves. We do not even know much about each other. Even the Dinka, when you go to Dungjol, for example, when they refer to Ngok, they say Ngak, and then they say Emen Jiang or Emen Ngok. You see, so it's as if Ngok are not Jiang or are not Dinka. So what am I saying here? We were not aware of ourselves, and awareness is what brings peace, and because when you know each other well as neighbors, you can live in harmony and cohesion and peace, cohesiveness, or living together in peace and harmony. So there was tribalism as it is today. And then again, I've already said I've already analyzed the causes of this civil war again were mainly because of the oil discovered in the Unity State in the southern Sudan by then, and other parts of South Sudan where you heard of SPLA, where those of Comrade Melik Agar and others were fighting. in Unity State when Taban Dengai was the governor of Unity State. There are videos on YouTube actually about these events. You can learn more about what happened there. When the Arabs were bombing the civilians in Unity State, even Pariang, even this Iglich or Panthau. That is when it was called Iglich. By the way, there's nothing called Nasser. Nasser is called Kwainwal Toan, which was formerly known as Kwainwal Dok. Because if you know our history, it was the Funj and then the Anyuak who were staying in that Sobat corridor before the Lualaya came with his group of Padang and chased away most of Anyuak, pushing them towards Ethiopia. And then, of course, they were still in the land, the Anyuak people. And by the way, I have to tell you that I'm Anyuak. I'm not Nuer, I'm not Dinka, okay? Though I identify as Dinka legally, but if you stress me, if you stress my roots, if you want to know more, you just ask in the comments below. So Anuak people were along the Subat corridor. Then Latjor came from Unity State and crossed through Malut area where they call Wat Ngok, okay? Then they went through Adar, they went through Gwelguk, they went to Gajak area, then they came again now west and southward and even northward. You see, that is when those names of Kwainlual Thoan, Kwainlual Dok became Kwainlual Thoan and others. And if you, because I lived in Sobat corridor, so many names are still in the Dinka language even today. I'm not saying, the Eastern Jikan should not live there and all that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the Eastern Jikan and the Dinka Ngok are mixed for so long, okay, so many years. So they are actually one community, by the way. And if you have to know more about me, I came from both communities, and I will tell you how. All right. So from Nyongora to Kwainlothan, if I have to tell you, you might be one of the children who grew up with me in Luel Nyanding. Yes, Luel Gualnang. Okay. Yeah. So my analysis here is that the cause of the Second Civil War, which is actually from 1983 to 2005, and I will give you some more information, was literally because of the it was between the north and south. North right now is called Sudan. By the way, there's nothing called North Sudan at the moment. Official name for the north is Sudan. The official name for south is South Sudan, which is a bit confusing because many people still think they are part of Sudan when in fact they are not. All right. So it's right now we are not called Southern Sudanese. Neither are we called Sudanese. We are South Sudanese. There's a big difference in English. When you say South Sudan, it means part of. Okay, it's like there is a united Sudan or there are two Sudans, like most of us think. Now that's not what it is. So from 1983 to 2005, briefly, we had again the war within Sudan between Juba and Khartoum. But even what I mean by the war within here is that we were also having our own issues. In 1991, SPLA split into different groups. And it's not only that. Even during Anyanya 1, from 1955, there were so many factions of, liberators who were fighting for the independence of South Sudan. So many, until Joseph Lagu came and unite, many of them. There were political parties and also the army wings. So I'm not going into details with that. If you want to know more, you can ask. So the Second Civil War is what we are talking about from 1983 to 2005, which ended with the peace agreement, that is called a Comprehensive Peace Agreement, which was signed here in Nairobi. And then there was a promise of self-rule, okay, from that period, that South Sudan will have to rule herself. Now, again, my analysis is that during this time, as I already said, the war was mainly between the North and South, and it was because of the resources mainly. And then, of course, the same root cause of the war is that we are different from the Sudan. We are different from our Arab brothers. And if you are an Arab, I don't mean anything bad, but I'm just giving history here. These are facts, okay? Even you guys know that we are different. That is why it was even difficult. Okay, some people got married. You know, you married our daughters and we married your daughters. But the culture is completely different. Your culture, even the way you dance, I'm not talking about just the language. Arabic became Sudanese language. But don't forget, in the south, we still have, like Honorable Ashwil says, that 72 nationalities, okay? Now, 2005 to 2011, that was what they called, we had the interim period where we have to, you know, the world has to see whether South Sudan will be capable of succeeding from Sudan and then become an independent state, which is what happened. So that is the interim period. And then we talk about the independence of South Sudan on the 9th of July, 2011. Since then, we are not Southern Sudan, neither are we Sudan. Okay, because our neighbors in Kenya, in Uganda, in Ethiopia, except Sudanese, because you know, when you speak in Arabic, you don't need to add south. You just say, I mean, you don't need to add Sudan to the south. You just say Junub. Junub means south. Okay, there's no Sudan there, so it's clear which south are you talking about for us in the Sudan. But in East Africa, many people up to 2025, they don't know anything about South Sudan. Many people, majority, maybe 95%. All right. When you talk about South Sudan, they say Sudan. If I have to go to Sudan, I have to use my visa because that is not my country. Now, the promise of freedom. We were given a promise that if we decide to succeed and become our own country, we will be free. Okay. Well, I have written several books about South Sudan. Actually 10 books about South Sudan. Some of them are a bit fictionalized, or I use creative, non-fiction style to write them. There are 10 books, and if you would like to check them out, they are on Amazon. My analysis here in this period of time was that the comprehensive peace agreement gave us, you know, the autonomy, the self-rule. That is when our leader, the liberator, the leader of the SPLA, SPLM, was now the first vice president of the Sudan, as well as the president of the autonomous South Sudan, until his untimely death, which there are a lot of videos online about it. People are saying, you know, Uganda is aware. Oh, no, not just Uganda, even our South Sudanese. There are people who, there is a view, okay, there is a message, there is an information that some of our leaders know, even though they are not mentioned for some reason, what happened to Dr. Garang, right? So again, those are the things that happened in 2005 to 2011 when we got our independence. So a lot of issues, even the 2012 is still ahead. Sorry for that. So my analysis here is that during this period of time, there was still tribalism within South Sudan. A lot of cattle raiding and other issues have been happening here and there, as they are happening today. All right. So what about 2011 to 2013 now? You know what happened in 2013, just 2 years after independence. So the freedom was short-lived because in December 15th, 2013, you know what happened in Juba. I was right there. It happened when I was there. The civil war broke out. And then, of course, that is the new civil war I was talking about. Then my analysis here is that power was the problem now. You know, after we liberated ourselves from our brothers in the north, we did not realize that the same issues that we were fighting them for will follow us. We did not know that, you know, leadership is so sweet, sweeter than your own people. That is me, you know, as a national. That is my feeling. I do not know what is there because though I'm now working with the government of South Sudan, you know, I don't know what is so good about leadership. Maybe fame, maybe wealth or resources, or maybe the authority itself. And I want to tell you that South Sudan being part of Sudan, you know, which is literally being part of the Arab world somehow, you know, somebody said Sudan is Dola Arabia. And then, it was Honorable Ashwil who shared the story that his uncle was saying, "Oh, now I know why they call Sudan Dola Arabia, because there are so many Arbat, so many cars." That was funny, but most people do not understand or did not understand what Dola Arabia meant. Now, what do I want to say here? My analysis here is that South Sudan problems are literally on the ideologies, the ideology of leadership. We are not democratic. We are authoritarian. We are actually like kings, kingdom, where I'm not talking about leaders. I'm talking about South Sudanese. Our concept, our ideology of being a leader. When you see a leader, you see what? A demigod, like uh, Patrice Lodge Lumumba says, PLO Lumumba, Professor PLO Lumumba, that an African leader is a demigod. It's not just them, it is us, the people, who give them the power, who see them that way. And it will take us a long time to understand that leaders are leading the people, they are not ruling us. If Europe, like now, there are demonstrations in Turkey or in Turkey, that they call it Turkey, right? Some of those demonstrators, when I listen to them on the BBC, they are even using the word rule. We have the choice to elect somebody to rule us. Really? Is there no difference between ruling and leadership? Leadership and rulership. These are two different things. But I have to tell you, if you don't know, that all the problems you see is actually us South Sudanese. Our ideology is that a leader is God. A leader is closer to God. Whatever he says is law. So, so don't make a mistake about it. Talking about the president Salva Kiir is, you are crossing the red line. Whatever you say about him, especially negative things, you are in trouble. Why? Because a leader is representing the country. In our minds, that is an ideology. If you go and read more about political ideologies, you will understand what I'm talking about. We have no concept of democracy. Somebody told me last year, 2023, actually my father-in-law, that is, I'm talking about Dien Biel. I mean, Dio was saying, Dio in Adong, he was saying that somebody who taught us how to to take meat from elephant. I don't know even how to say it in English, but when an elephant is killed in the village in those days, it is not divided equally among the villagers. You have to grab it by force, and to do that, people line up. The strong men go. They are in front. They cut the piece of meat and they give it to somebody next, just behind them. There is a line behind until you reach to the women, where you have the containers, or what they call dionyo, whatever, to put the meat there. After it is all finished, these strong men keep changing. They keep changing each other. They keep replacing. When this one is tired, the other one goes. So Dien Abiel, or Dio Arup Abiel, was telling me, somebody who taught people how to do that has caused us problem in Africa, because that is what is happening now in South Sudan, in Kenya, in many other countries. Everything is about, if I become a minister today, my people line up behind me, because it is the same ideology. Natural resources are for us, so we have access to them, and then you line up behind me so that I scoop enough money and I give you. Eh? And that's why people celebrate when we become a minister. They say, "Oh, our person." It's not about you. They have nothing to do with you, but you are representing them. That is how Africa is, and South Sudan. So that's my brief analysis. Now, 2013 to 2015, there was a peace agreement in 2015. And then in 2016, civil war again in Juba. I was in Juba when the J1 issue happened. They call it dog fight. I was close to it. I was somewhere near Jama Juba. Not really close. And 2017, we were still in war. So I call it the third civil war. I mean, we are talking about 2013 to 2017, literally, because the other peace agreement was signed in 2018, which is about to collapse right now, which is the reason why I'm giving you this brief, briefing. So the root causes of our civil war actually are now becoming what? the seat. We are fighting for the authority. We are authoritarian, okay? We are not democratic. Authoritarian, the sulta ya jama, sulta. That's why you get the word sultan, right? Sulta. Sulta is power, is authority, right? Though I don't know Arabic very well, I think you agree with me that sulta means what? Authority, power. So, so that is the issue now. Why? Power is, it gives you access to power itself so that you can command things. You have the power to, to tell the soldiers to do whatever you want. That is power, the authority. And then it gives you access to resources, as I said, not just for you, but for your group or for your people behind you. And then, you know, it also gives you fame. If you are a president, people will know you. Those are good things, and nobody doesn't want to crave, such things. Then we had a peace deal in 2018, and then my analysis here again is that our issues in South Sudan are, complex. There is tribalism in there. There is a lack of resources because we have not yet developed the country. There are no good roads. Even if you can, you can make your sharif, your maize farm somewhere. Where will you sell the produce? In fact, uh, the issue of roads is an issue, especially in the Upper Nile. When I went there in 2013, I cried, I wept because I didn't go there since 2013 when the war began. 2023 when I went back. I mean, from Malakal. What has changed? Nothing. It is the same Malakal of 2001, actually, uh, or even worse. By then the tarmac road near the river there. It was perfect, but now it's destroyed, and we are not even thinking. Look at the airport itself. The runway is. I have videos in this channel. You can check them. When I was landing with, with Budr. You call it Badr, I don't know. So I was landing there in 2022. I mean 2023. I don't remember. Like 2022 May. Yes. So we are not doing anything. Why? Because we have issues, right? Now, 2018 to 2025, well, that peace again is short-lived. Why? Because right now, as we speak, there are a lot of indicators that South Sudan is slipping back to war, which I think nobody want to hear about it, especially me as a South Sudanese. The killing of our general, the SSPDF general in Nasser, did not just happen in the vacuum. There were a lot of issues. That is my analysis, and anyway. So one of the issues is that the soldiers overstayed there, and you see human beings. As a man, I have to be with my wife. You can't keep me away from my wife for 10 years or more. What do you think? Psychologically, I will not be okay. But am I blaming anyone? No, I'm just giving you some reasons, right? Now, these are the current developments I'm already talking about. At the moment, as I record this video, the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, is reported to be under house arrests, right? So I'm not educating you on this because you can find information about them anywhere. My point is, I want to take you through the brief history of South Sudan from 1955 to 2025. That is 70 years, and I will give you a summary of that. So my analysis is that, again, as I said before, we have a lot of issues. And I don't even know, because even Christianity itself, we are known to be like 90% Christian. I don't know what kind of Christianity is this. All right. Anyway, that's my analysis. If we are Christian, we are supposed to say or do what we say. Our words, we have to have that integrity, right? What we say should be what we do. And to take you back to 2004, I recorded my first my first audio message, which was in a cassette. By then, I had that big that radio that that used a cassette. So I recorded one side of that cassette in English, the other side was in Dinka language because I was focusing on the SPLA by then. And that sherit, I think it was taken by the SPLA soldiers from me. They like it. They even call it prophecies because I was speaking about the death of Garang, though I didn't know exactly how it will happen. I was speaking about the civil war in South Sudan, because it's not a prophecy to me, but other people think it is. But I'm going to tell you right now, right here, that you can use the current information, the current developments, the current events to predict the likelihood of what will happen next. You don't have to be a Jewish prophet to do that. And most of us, almost all of us in South Sudan, we know what is going to happen next. If we are going back to civil war, especially with the involvement of Uganda, maybe Sudan will get involved, maybe Ethiopia, maybe Kenya, maybe Congo, maybe Central Africa. I don't know, but South Sudan is likely to be like a battlefield, a battleground where people with interest, they are coming in. Don't talk about America now, or even China, or even Sudan. Okay, Sudan, yeah, is our neighbor, but they also have a lot of interest. How do you know if we are like this? If we are like the way we are, I don't even know how to describe us. You can see how emotional I am. I am a son of the soil, but even as I speak, it's likely for someone to misunderstand what I'm saying and understand it in their own way. Why? Because we have a lot of issues. That's why I wrote a book, uh, The Bleeding Scars. Okay, we still have scars that are bleeding. And I don't know how long it will take us to forgive each other. Are we going to be like Israel and Palestine, who are fighting for centuries? I do not know. Now, conclusion. From 1955 to 2025 is actually 70 years now. All right, likely 70 years, and Sudan is still in war. I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what needs to be done so that Sudan is in peace, not in pieces, right? So is even likely that maybe South Sudan and Sudan will reunite, and because now, what is even the point of dividing the country into two if South Sudan cannot be in peace? What was the reason even for fighting for my elder brother BL, or you call him BL Maluth, or BL Tudlew, as he was known in Nasser area, who died in Nasser liberating the South Sudan from the Arabs. What is the point of his death if we cannot find a solution to our own issues, especially when we are fighting for the seat, not for the land? All right. So I would like to tell you that peace starts with personal peace. Personal peace is crucial. Know thyself, know thy passion, know thy purpose. So thank you so much, and I would like you to subscribe to this channel. I would like you to like the video and share it widely if it is something useful to you, if it encourages peace, if you think people need to know more about our history. And I would like to encourage you to contact me or just visit my website, johnshalom.com, and I'll also share the link in the description of this video. So thank you so much, and may God bless you.